Hey, coach, so happy you found us. First of all, subscribe and like so you get these. We put these up every day. Second thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. Be everything you need to become a better basketball coach. Go over and check it out. It's a community. We just got off an hour and a half call just talking hoops, sharing ideas. Nothing else like it. You get my personal email address. You will love it. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video.
Hi, Coach. This is Coach Van back again with our next playbook. And today we are going to go over the pick and roll playbook. As always, I'm going to start off by taking you through the table of contents and exactly what you get in the book. And then towards the second half of the video, we'll take a look at some of the diagrams and scroll through so you can see kind of what you're getting. So let's go ahead and start with the table of contents. We start off, we just kind of tell you a little bit about what the pick and roll playbook is about and why we want to run the pick and roll and what we're looking for out of running the pick and roll. We then get into and give you a couple different continuity offenses. Number one, we have the Euro ball screen offense. I think a lot of people or coaches might be familiar with. That's been popular over the last 5 to 10 years. And the second offense we give you is what I call the pride offense, but some people call it the drag offense. But it's also it's just a basic pick and roll and replace offense. So within both of those offenses, we give you a ton of counter plays depending on how the defense is playing you. So you can call some counters to keep the defense off guard. So quite a few plays to choose from. So then we dive into our pick and roll series. Now, the difference in our series is it's not continuity, but it's just kind of random sets that we like to run that all, for the most part, are run from the same alignment. So we give you 3 different pick and roll series to choose from. The first is your traditional drag series. We call it Duke, which is you got a double drag, sometimes mostly used in transition. Typically where the first guy might roll and the second guy might pop. But we give you a lot of different counter plays and options out of that. Our Utah series is the second series that we give you, and that is just your basic pick and roll. I call it Utah. That's again our terminology. If some of you guys have already bought in the Unscoutable playbook, you'll be familiar with our terminology and our vocabulary. It will definitely help you when going through the book. But our Utah series is just a basic pick and roll. It might come from the top. It might come from the wings. It can come from anywhere. We have a multitude of different pick and rolls that we like to run from different spots on the floor. Lastly, we go over and give you quite a few different Spain pick and rolls. If you're not familiar with Spain, it's more of a back screen for the ball screener. Kind of creates a lot of confusion, and the plays that we give you set it up in a lot of different ways that can cause confusion with the defense and where they're not expecting the action. So a lot of decoy and entry action before the main Spain pick and roll action. Then we go into the third section, which is our pick and roll, which is specific action plays. Now, these specific action plays they're all pick and roll plays, but you'll see the first one here is DCU action. I call that DCU. It's just a dribble. The D stands for dribble, the C stands for circle, and the U stands for Utah. So it's more of a dribble entry, circle action. Some people call it zipper or loop action that goes directly into our Utah action, which is a pick and roll. So again, DCU stands for dribble, circle, Utah. It's just easy for our players. Again, that's another terminology and vocabulary thing within our playbook. So we give you a bunch of those type of plays, which is great for teams that are really putting pressure on your wings, and it's hard for you to get into your offense, or maybe you have some wing players that you might want to get into some pick and rolls instead of your point guard. Second, a specific action, we have butter action. That's, again, our terminology. Butter action is a slip. So a lot of different ways for you to soften the defense up and run some pick and roll and pick and slip plays that are preset. That's great for a coach who can kind of see how the defense is playing, and we can just call that quick butter action play. Then we go into pick and roll plays. I kind of discussed this earlier, but the pick and roll plays for the wings. So if you have some wing players that are really good in the pick and roll situation, and you don't want to run a pick and roll for your point guard, these are specific plays that you can run for your wings. Lastly, and this is one of my favorite actions, and I don't know why we don't see more teams running this. You see it a lot in the NBA, but if you're struggling against teams who are doing a really good job of whether they're blitzing or trapping your pick and roll, the ram action pick and roll plays is a must-have in your playbook. All the ram action is, I'll actually go through that a little bit later once I get down into that section. I'll explain it, but for those of you who know what it is, we give you quite a few different plays there out of ram action. So lastly, we didn't want it to all be offense. We wanted to also go over how to defend the pick and roll. So we give you some drills, some tag man drills, and how you want to defend different pick and rolls from different spots on the floor. We also give you about 10 different defending pick and roll ball screen coverages too. So we got 10 different ways that we like to defend the pick and roll depending on the spot on the floor, and we give you a lot of drills to go with it. So that's the table of contents. So now let's go ahead and dive into the playbook. Here you can kind of see, here's our Euro ball screen. You'll see some of the plays. We got 2 pages worth of counter plays, and also everything we do too, you'll see towards the end of the play. So the first, all of these plays that you see right here on the first page and halfway through the second page, those are all counter plays. Then we go into our entry plays. The entry plays are decoy actions that want to disguise what we want to get into. They're kind of actions or plays that will run, that will give us 2 or 3 options before getting into our Euro ball screen. And then we always go into our blobs and slobs towards the end. And that just, again, those are just plays that will flow right into your continuity offense. So we do that in every section. So here's the Euro ball screen. And then we get into the pick and roll and replace, which we call pride. You'll see all the counters we have there. Here's our Duke series, which is our double drag action. And here's our Utah. You can see we got 3.5 pages of just pick and rolls from all different angles. There's some really good stuff in there. No matter where you want to run the pick and roll, from the top of the key or the wing. Here's our Spain series. Not a whole lot, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we got about, I don't know, 10 to 12 different Spain actions that you can run. Here we get into our DCU action, which is kind of the zipper like I was talking about, dribble entry. You'll see here's a good example. Here's our Boston DCU play. You'll see number 1, dribble entry over to the wing. 3 kind of cuts through. 4 is coming down to set that kind of a ram screen, but zipper action here. We pass the ball to 3, and as soon as 3 gets the ball, he's coming off 5 for a pick and roll. And 5, here's what 5 was doing. They were sprinting up, so that's hard to hedge. It's kind of a surprise ball screen. So again, dribble entry, zipper action. That's the dribble, that's the circle, and here's the Utah. So 3 comes off 5. And then in this play, you'll see we just go into a simple roll and replace. So 3 is looking for a shot or a drive, maybe hit 5 here on the roll. As a secure last second option, we can pass the ball to 4. Then we could look for a high low to 5 if we wanted to, if you're looking down at frame 3. If we don't have that, we just reverse it, and then we just kind of get into a double stagger here. So we like to have multiple options within our plays. You'll see about 3 to 4, sometimes even 5 options in some of the plays that we do give you. Here's the butter action. This is the pick and roll, pick and slip. I'll give you an example here. This is our Euro ball screen, which we call 1. Again, you're going to see 4 here, butters it. So if you're running the Euro ball screen over and over and over again, the defense is going to start to cheat. And once they do that, that's when you hit them with the butter. So 4 is going to butter. If we don't have that, we just continue in our continuity. 1 hits 5, 3 cuts through, 2 pops up, boom. we're right back in. Once 5 makes that pass to 2, he is now doing the same thing. We're going into butter here, so we're slipping the action. So as a coach, if you see some of that action, or you see the defense cheating or blitzing or hard hedging or whatever, and you feel like you can take advantage of it, this is something you can call anytime in any play. Just call butter, and it puts all the players on the same page. So tons of plays here, 2 pages worth of table of contents that just with butter action out of multiple different alignments. Here's what I was talking about with our pick and roll plays for our wings. This is something that again, if you have some really good wing players that you want to get into some pick and roll actions, you can do that here. We give you a ton of different actions here out of different alignments and plays. Here's the ram action. So I told you I was going to take you through what ram is, and let me find a good play here. Why don't we just go here with 21 ram out. So 21, just basic dribble handoff between the 1 and the 2, but you'll notice here's the ram action. The ram action is where number 3 is coming down and setting a screen here for number 5. And what that does is that sets number 5 to sprint up and set a ball screen as soon as number 2 comes and gets the dribble handoff. Now what that allows is X5 has to fight through number 3's down screen, ram screen here. So it is extremely important for 5 to sprint up to set that ball screen. But what this allows is X5 now has to sprint up, and it's very hard for him to get into a position to hedge or blitz. So if teams are blitzing your screens or trying to trap your ball screens or really giving you problems with hedging, then this is what you want to be doing just to kind of clear up. You can just run simple ram action, and that should solve that problem right there. So 2 then comes off 5. Now I call this ram out because 3, who sets the ram screen down here for 5, then comes out off the down or the pin down by number 4. Yeah, so number 2 is coming off, might have the roll, might have 3 coming off here on the out action, and we also might have 1 on the backside lift up and fill. So multiple options out of 1 pick and roll play, so you can see how deadly that can be. So again, we give you 2 pages worth of ram out action. Then we get into how we want to defend the pick and roll. Here's all the drills. We start off in 1-on-1, go into 2-on-2, 3-on-3. We do a bunch of SSGs, small-sided games on the side of the floor, getting players. It's good. We give you drills both offensively and defensively. And then you look here, we also give you some tag man pick and roll drills to make sure that we know who is the person that's supposed to be tagging the roll and how we can recover out of that. You can see here, I'll give you a quick little example here. Just on a 3-sided game here, if we're going to trap this, then what do we want to do? This is our Serbian throwback out of our Euro ball screen. Here's the lift player, so we got to tag, we got to recover, just some things like that. So that's about it. 624 pages of pick and roll plays and drills. You can get this book at nextplayhoops.com, and again, 624 pages of plays, and this book goes for $39.99. There is another book that goes along with it that is a specific drill book that you can also look at. It's called the Pick and Roll and DHO Drill Book. That book is loaded with just drills that are only for pick and rolls and DHOs. And if you want to take a look at that, you might want to go to that book. I'll do a video on that here coming up shortly as well, so you can take a look and see what you can do if you were looking for a few more drills to break down your pick and roll offense, both offensively and defensively. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you can email me anytime. My email is coachvan@nextplayhoops.com. Again, it's Coach Van, and that's 2 N's in Van, VANN, at nextplayhoops.com. And we'll see you at the next video. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like before you leave. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's got everything and a roadmap for you to become a better basketball coach. So go over and check it out. And let's head back to the next video, wherever that would be.